Hello and welcome back to the Digital Marketing Podcast. My name is Kieran Rogers.
I'm Louise Crossley.
And I'm Daniel Rolls.
And today we are discussing AI search.
We are talking AI search. And there's two sides of it, really. So the paid search, Google Ads has gone fully AI on a load of different aspects. So we'll talk about which bits haven't happened, and then talk about how they're rolling it out and what difference that makes. There's also the organic search stuff. So the SGE, the Search Generative Experience, that is creating lots and lots of alarm. But I have an opinion on it that I'm going to share, and it's slightly controversial. So
share away.
Well, the key thing is what they're starting to do, and you've only seen this really in the experiments, and it's not been rolled out absolutely everywhere yet, is that you do a search, you get your paid search ads at the top, as you kind of expect, so Google can make some money, and then they're giving you results that are generated in certain circumstances by AI, by Bard at the moment, and it will still be Bard, but it will be the one that's based on Gemini in the near future, the full version. So if you were to go in and say, I am looking to have a trip to Jersey in the Channel Islands and I'm going to take my kids and I want to know what to do. The idea is that it will give you an itinerary or something like that. It will use that knowledge and that experience to go through and do that. Do I have to point out at the moment that I'm now on the board for Visit Jersey?
You should.
Okay.
Yeah, in the
disclaimer.
interest of disclosure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Disclosure. I am now on the board for Visit Jersey. I thought I might as well get paid for it. I've been talking about it for enough. I might as well now, put me on the board. So anyway. By the way, on that, the cat's out the bag now.
What?
We have managed to get The Apprentice, as in Lord Sugar, to be filmed in Jersey on Ireland. And that's coming out in February as well.
That would be an exciting one.
Lighthouse in the trailer.
Yeah, exactly. Hence that. That was a bit of a coup for us. Anyway, I do go off at a tangent somewhat.
You're fired.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, no. Okay. That was quite good.
Yeah,
well done.
Thank you.
It's your business, but you're fired.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. It'd be so much more relaxing if
I
we didn't
was
have to do all
just
this
being
anymore.
Alan Sugar. That's what he does. And you've got to see the protein under mind.
SGE, all the reports I've heard, adding in these results, it's not really getting positive feedback from people. Because if you think about it, if I wanted that type of result, I would have gone to ChatGPT or I would have gone to Bard, okay, to get that kind of response. Whereas, wait, hear me out, because I don't know where you're going with this. But so what's happening is I'm searching, I'm getting a load of ads, I'm getting a load of waffle. I'm like, I don't want that because I came to Google for a Google search and I know what a Google search is. And I want those websites. And I'm scrolling down and going to those. So a lot of the initial reporting that I've read has gone back and said, people didn't really like it. So Google have kind of leant back on it a little bit and went, maybe that's not quite right. So as far as I understand, they're doing it in very specific sets of circumstances when you ask a question in a particular way and they can untangle that is the kind of search result that you are looking for.
I think in different circumstances, like in terms of a Google shopping point of view, I could see how it really works because you're looking up a specific types of cameras or something, and it's pulling through different examples and it's analysing each one.
Well,
and so in terms of your research journey,
the research journey, I definitely think, and this is where this came in. So I was literally looking at some SLR cameras, and basically best SLR cameras, and I'm going to get tech review, gadget review. You're going to get all these websites that give you the best cameras for 2024, whatever it might be. And I kind of know which ones I trust and which ones I don't trust, but I'm not always entirely sure. But then I had some generative AI responses in that as well that were talking about the things you need to consider and the different functionalities. And then I was like, okay, that's quite useful. So I think you're right. If you put it into the search journey in the right context, it's helpful.
But that's the bottom line, isn't it?
Right.
If you introduce this SGE thing in Google and it annoys me and gets in the way, that's not good. But if it does
Google
a better job, then that's great.
But this is why I'm saying no one needs to be concerned about it, really, because if it's not helpful, Google will can it. They're notorious that they'll launch something. It doesn't work, they'll get rid of it, right? So in reality, if it's adding something to the journey, it's making it better. Now, from an SEO point of view, does that mean it's easy to make my content found? Well, actually, if you look at the content it's building the whole knowledge base of that AI model on, it's our websites, it's all our normal stuff. But the more you can demonstrate experience, expertise, authoritativeness, trust, the more it's going to use that within those kind of results potentially anyway. So I still have this feeling about SEO, that SEO is dead. In that, the more complicated it becomes, the less you need to worry about it. To some extent, you just need to focus on creating really good content for your target audience, which has always been the same thing. But I wouldn't panic about this SGE thing. I think it is going to have a teething period of making some SEO harder and less controllable. But I think that's been like that for a long time anyway.
It's a cat and mouse game with the engineers at Google all the time with SEO. So just get over it and get rid of program.
That's it.
It's almost like the whole SGE thing. It reduces the need for users to click on your website, but then to beat that, you just need to make your content better.
Right. And what I'm concerned about, and what everyone's concerned about to some extent, is that if they answer everything within Google and no one visits your website, you don't get the traffic, you don't get the brand exposure, you don't get all that kind of stuff as well. So do we therefore have to rely more on paid advertising? Is that the case? And that's every new feature that Google bring out. Everyone has this argument about it. I think the reality is, if people are looking for a list of websites, Google have to give them a list of websites because that's what people want. That's what they're going to click on. Therefore, that's the user journey that's going to be a good one for the target audience. And Google have always been pretty good at that. The paid search side of things is fascinating. So already, because of this lack of third-party cookies, so third-party cookies disappearing.
In July this year. Well, second half of this year.
They started in January in Chrome. So they've got rid of them and starting to in Chrome anyway. It basically means there's less targeting cookies, right? So it's harder to target advertising. So now when you go into Google Ads, it's amazing when you do a display ad, you do a paid search ad, or you do a performance max. It's all kind of the same interface now. And it's like, give us the website, and we're going to grab a load of headlines, a load of descriptions, maybe some images, maybe some videos, whatever it might be. But we're just going to mix those up. And like, shall I set my targeting? No, just don't bother. We'll do it for you based on your website. So you can set audiences. You can do a number of different things to try and target that in. But the reality is they've already moved that whole part of their business through to a machine learning based model. So in fact, you're just giving them the raw materials, setting some constraints with that, and it's mixing them up and trying to show them to the right people. Now, the thing they've just released, and we'll see how much this eventually gets rolled out, is actually a kind of chat interface based on Gemini in order to help you build your ads in the first place. But the stat was brilliant. Was it 42% stat, I think you told me?
Yeah. So what this system does is it enables you to use like a generative experience to improve your ad assets and copy and
helping you write an ad,
yeah,
basically.
And create well, not just write, but create visual assets as well. So, and they've released it to a small subset of like guinea pigs in America that have been testing this out. And the stat on the Google blog about this said that they'd seen that 42% of users then using this tool got a ad quality, like an ad score of good to excellent.
But that ad score is generated by the Google platform.
I know. So that's the really interesting thing. Like, will adverts do better if they have a good or excellent like ad score because the algorithm favors it, or does that score actually mean the ad's going to affect users more? Like, what's it affecting more, the algorithm or the people you're trying to reach?
Or is the algorithm updating based on the user?
It's just this massive question mark over my head on that, because there is an element of playing a bit of an algorithmic game to make the algorithm happy. But good marketing shouldn't ever be making an algorithm happy. It should be reaching out to the customers that you help and making their lives better.
Another point on that algorithm as well, that score that you get. It would say improve your score by 6% by adding more phrases. Improve it by 10% by adding more budget. Right? Yeah, exactly.
Improve our profit line.
Yeah, exactly. So the algorithm is rewarding you doing more ads that will get more clicks because they'll make more money as well. But we need to optimize against our actual desired outcomes. Now, the other thing about this is that the whole Google Ads platform now, the first thing you do, you go in, it's scanned your GA4 and it's looked up what your conversion events are. And it's saying, which of these do you want to optimize your campaigns for? And if you haven't got GA4 set up properly in those conversion events for each of these different ads you might be creating, then you've kind of got a problem. So if I give you an example, we had it set up on our website for online subscribers and lead generation. I wanted to try and get some more podcast listeners and suddenly realized we don't have a conversion event set up to do that at the moment, because that would be you going to our website and then clicking through to Apple or clicking through to Spotify is what I really want. Because I want you to go and subscribe there probably, because that's where you're realistically going to listen. So I had to set an additional GA4 conversion event up, which is a click through to one of those websites that was relevant. So you are at a massive disadvantage if you're not using GA4, or at least it's not set up properly because of this move to machine learning. That machine learning is directly impacting your paid search. But I would think it through and go, actually, from an organic search point of view, they haven't got the cookie data, but they've certainly got data into your analytics. There's a real opportunity there for making sure that you've got this set up really robustly so that they can try and decide how relevant your content is and all those kind of things as well.
Ultimately, you just don't have much control anymore.
It does feel a bit like that, right? Because it used to be this ad to this person in this location that looks like this. And now it's like, here's my stuff, please get someone to it.
Yeah.
It just feels like you have lost a little bit of that control, which means for brands that are really tight on their branding, so you imagine like an Apple of the world or something like that, and I'm speaking imaginatively here, my opinion, is that they would go, wouldn't it? We're not going to let you just randomly put this headline with this image, with this video. It's like, we control that massively. So, are you then at a disadvantage because you're not giving it? And I know you are, because the reality is they reward you for giving it more options. If you give it 5 headlines rather than 3, it gives you a bit of a boost, right?
But that's the thing. You could meet their score and have an excellent ad based on stuff you've input manually. But it doesn't mean you're going to perform well. They'll probably penalise you for it.
Right.
You can. But in tests, 42% of users scored a good or an excellent.
Right. This is fascinating because
which means by default that 42, so 58% didn't.
That doesn't sound as good what you said, like, Kieran.
It doesn't.
But
that's my point, right? It's why I just found it such an odd.
It's like when people say, "What's your source?" It's like just trust me. Just trust me.
It's a Daniel fact. It's a Dan fact, as they call them in my house. So yeah. So look, I think this is the way that Google has gone. Machine learning should you get you better click-through rates, all that kind of stuff. Bring you back to that quote from the HubSpot conference when someone went, it's not fair, we're competing with AIs. And they said, no, you're competing with marketers that are using AIs.
Yes.
And if you're not, you're at a competitive disadvantage. I know that these Performance Max campaigns are getting much higher click-through rates than non-Performance Max campaigns in many cases. Therefore, do I say, well, I'm missing out that if I don't do these types of campaigns?
It's a bit of a Wild West at the moment, though, isn't it? Because this
it always
stuff,
has been.
No, but more so.
Yeah,
I mean,
we were
talking
about at the moment.
Well, we were talking about this morning. Like you've been teaching me a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't know. And my question to you was, when did you learn all this? And you said, about 3 weeks ago.
Well,
because it's like, it's changing all the time.
Literally, at the moment, if I'm teaching, so I should give a bit of a shout out actually to my students at Imperial College. So I've just started teaching.
Hi guys.
On my MSc program again. So we've got like 230 students. They're Kensington and Chelsea stream. That's how posh we are.
Wow.
We're called Kensington and Chelsea, the two groups. And really, really smart, 85% international groups. And we're teaching all this stuff. I'm having to go in the night before and like look a load of stuff up, see what's changed since a week ago when I last lectured with them, because it's changing so quickly and they're having to deal with this stuff kind of constantly.
So what's the solution to this? Because this is a problem for marketers. We've all got day jobs.
Sign up to targetinternet.com.
Oh, such a good segue.
Well, that's what we're... you know what, let's just talk about that for a second. The whole point of Target Internet was trying to be that community that helped people stay up to date.
Yes.
Okay. And for us, what's nice about this is it's becoming very apparent to people, oh my God, I need something that is going to filter this through. So if you like the podcast, you should also sign up to Target Internet because there's loads of e-learning and articles and all that kind of stuff.
It's like having that central place, isn't it, rather than getting bits of information from here.
Yeah, and we're trying to filter it and do it that way, and we're putting in certificates as well. That's the other thing. If you want to look at search at the moment, we're launching up certificate pathways. So it's not just like, oh, there's all this content. There's like, I need to know about SEO, right? There is an SEO certificate now. There is an analytics GA4 certificate you can go and do. There is a CIM recognized certificate pathway as well for an overall qualification. They are all mapped up against professional standards and stuff like that. So yeah, take a look if you haven't. But the point being, thank you for building that plug-in for us there.
That's fine.
Very well done. Good job. Is that this is the way it's gone. And if you're not using these latest tools, you are at a disadvantage. So we've talked about first lead advantage before when you speak about, oh, I adopted YouTube early or we did podcasts early or whatever it is. But actually there's AI stuff and things like that at the moment. If you just get that little bit of lead all the time, so if you can just find a way of keeping yourself up to date constantly, that's going to really make a difference.
And that's why a lot of people are listening to the podcast.
Yeah, right. It's an easy way of learning when you're doing something else, right?
Yeah. But I guess I just wanted to highlight for people, look, you can take this further, because I'm sure for some of you the podcast you've still got lots of questions.
Yeah, right.
Like join one of the webinars, spend a morning with us and we'll walk you through it all.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also think that it's learning from other people is part of this as well. So kind of joining that community together, bringing people together makes a big difference as well. So we would love to hear what you think about this. targetinternet.com/podcast. Get in contact and let us know how you're getting on, how you think SEO is changing, how much it stays the same. And we'll speak to you again on the Digital Marketing Podcast.
Please subscribe for more videos like this and visit targetinternet.com for more free digital marketing resources.